How's it going, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today, I'm gonna be continuing on the playlist, Bible beginning to end. Now, last time we went through Genesis chapter 20, which is about Abraham and Abimelech. Now, to be honest, I forgot all about this chapter, but here it is. When Abraham entered into the city where Abimelech was, he told his wife, which is his stepsister or his half-sister, to say that you are my sister. And then it went on, and Abimelech took Sarah and tried to make her his concubine, or his wife. And long story short, God saw this, and he fastly closed up the wombs of Abimelech's household. Then Abimelech gave Sarah back to Abraham. But yeah, that's what went on in Genesis chapter 20. But today, we're going to be reading on Genesis chapter 21. Let's get into it. The birth of Isaac. And the Lord visited Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age. Now, keep in mind, in the beginning, when God first made this promise, Sarah was hesitant to believe and said, "Shall I bear a son in my old age?" And laughed and doubted what God said. But then here we see how God fulfilled his promise. After Abraham basically tried to put everything in his own hands and listened to Sarah and went into her maid, which was Hagar, and had his son Ishmael. But now we can see in Genesis chapter 1 or chapter 21 how God fulfilled his promise through his son Isaac. Alright, now enough of my talking. Let's continue in. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised this son, Isaac, 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day Isaac was weaned. Hagar and Ishmael sent away. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, what she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight, because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight, because of the lad, and because of this bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of this bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. Now, sorry for interrupting again, but we can see how God makes all things that seem bad become good. Because in the beginning, instead of listening to God, Abraham took things in his own hands and went in to Hagar, his maid, his servant, or his wife's maid. Excuse me. His wife's servant. But instead of God getting mad and casting out the Ishmael, he said that he would make a nation of Ishmael instead of casting him out, which I think is very merciful of God. And it shows how God's mercy is boundless, because even when Abraham disobeyed him, he still, instead of getting angry, instead of casting them out and not doing anything for them, he still decided to help them, which I think is amazing, and how it shows God's love for all people. Let's continue on. Where was I at? And also the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle. And she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat down over against him, a good way off, as it were a bow shout. For she said, Let me not see the death of my child. And she sat over against him, and lift up her voice, and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called out to Hagar, out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard thy voice of the lad, where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad a drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. The covenant at Beersheba. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham removed Abimelech because of the well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who hath done this thing. Neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen, and gave them unto Abimelech. And both of them made a covenant. And Abimelech sent 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What means these 7 ewe lambs, which thou hast sent by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me, that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because they swear, both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned unto the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. Alright. Now that was the story of the beginning of Isaac's journey. Next week, we're going to be going into Genesis chapter 22. Abraham commanded to offer Isaac. Alright. I'll see you guys next time. And God bless.